Hello and welcome to MAGA Institute podcast. I'm Timothy Shea.
And I'm Brooke McGowan.
Brooke, Leo's in Tulsi and Vares. Oh my. What
What a,
a week it's been.
what a week. What a month. What a
It's
summer.
it's only Wednesday and this week is getting spicier by the day.
It sure is. What a great day. I saw today. I hope you caught it. Tulsi Gabbard speaking at the White House briefing room. Boy, did she hand it to them, too. She is powerhouse, a bad boss lady. I mean, I'm not going to use the language that we really want to say because she is just really kicking it. And I'm very excited to see where this whole investigation is going. And I know that we have Obama pooping his pants right now.
Well, I love how she played him. She released an initial set of documents showing that he ordered Clapper and Brennan and all of the rest of the criminals in the intelligence community to redo the intelligence assessment that said that Russia did not interfere with the 2016 election. And he ordered them to go back and redo it to say that Russia did.
Right.
And he came out and said, I ordinarily don't talk about the president because he's got his own administration, but I can't let this stand. This is just nonsense. And he goes off. And Tulsi comes in and says, but wait, there's more. And she just dropped a nuclear bomb today in the White House press office.
She sure did. And there's more to come, I believe. She said, just look at the evidence and you will see the truth. And she has to point that out to the press because the White House press is notorious for not reporting, not doing their job, not digging things up, not being journalists, but being parrots of whomever is telling them their stories at 4 a.m. So this is going to be great to see how this all washes out.
It really is. One of the reporters said, "Do I understand that you're saying that President Obama committed crimes?" And she just looked over and said, "Correct."
Correct. Beautiful, beautiful. Long time coming. How many years have we waited for some sort of justice? Even long before 2016, Timbo, we've talked about years and years and years of the criminality of Barack Hussein Obama. 2016 was not the first thing that he's done. His whole construct is criminality. We don't even think he's a real guy. That's not even his real name. I mean, we've been doing years and years of research. There's so much to know about Barack Hussein Obama. And I think those threads are going to start unraveling very soon.
I think they are. And construct is the right word. And it's actually the word that Eric Weinstein used about Jeffrey Epstein. He said Jeffrey Epstein is a construct.
Right.
And the podcast host said, "What do you mean he's a construct?" He said, "Just that. He's not a regular person. He's a guy that was never graduated from college, and yet he's a maths professor at the Dalton School, which for those that don't know is one of the most prestigious private secondary schools, primary and secondary schools in Manhattan." And Eric said, "I know a lot of people from my work. He knows everybody. How does this guy know everybody? How did he get so fabulously rich?" What I always come back to is what prompted Les Wexner, the chairman of The Limited, which also owns Victoria's Secret, what prompted him to gift Jeffrey the largest private residence in Manhattan? That townhouse he has on 71st Street was gifted to him.
Right.
How does that happen? Ghislaine Maxwell, her father, Robert Maxwell, is a known Mossad asset. And Eric Weinstein said he's a construct. He knew way more about my work in the Harvard math department than he should have. He said everything about this guy smacks of being a constructed personality. We don't even know that his real name is Jeffrey Epstein. And I think that's exactly right with Obama. I'm still convinced that his biological father is American Communist Party leader Frank Marshall Davis. He's got the same mole as Davis. If you do a side by side at the same age, it looks like a mirror image, father and son, and he looks nothing like Barack Obama Sr. So I think you're exactly right. We've got the mailman in Glen Ellen, Bill Ayers' mailman in Glen Ellen, Illinois, saying that a young black boy that turns out to be the man we know as Barack Hussein Obama said to him matter-of-factly one day that I'm going to be president of the United States. He couldn't have been more than 12, 13, 14 years old, according to the mailman. So I think construct's exactly the right word, Brooke.
Yeah, long time coming. We've been fighting this battle for a long time. How many years have we been called conspiracy theorists, crazy right-wing lunatics, whatever? It's going to be very gratifying to see this all come about and really, quite give us the answers we've been dying to see for so many years, and really kind of say, not that we want to say this so very, very badly, but I told you so.
Well, and I still think that Mitt Romney took a dive in the second debate when Candy Crowley waded in, because that's not the Mitt Romney I helped get elected governor in Massachusetts. He completely laid down after kicking Barack's butt from one end of the stage to the other in the first debate. So I think 2012 was a little bit suspect. I think all of our elections have been suspect, which is why this election integrity effort is so important.
For sure, for sure. So that's the battle we're fighting even in this state, and we see that across the country too. They were even mentioning it today in the briefing at the White House briefing. Tulsi Gabbard was talking about election integrity and
Yeah.
whether or not that has actually something that we need to be digging up. And the election of 2020 obviously was stolen. I think we're going to see more of those facts come out, and we're going to actually get to the bottom of things. I feel like the poor January 6th political prisoners need a big old fat apology, not just from the press, but from the DOJ and from even, President Biden, all of the people that made sure that they were suffering. They need a big apology. They need restitution. There's some people who didn't even survive. A couple of guys have killed themselves from this.
Yeah.
I think January 6th obviously is one of our terrible, terrible political tragedies in our history. But this crime of the century that we're seeing today, the coup perpetuated by Barack Obama and company, it's going to be wonderful to see it fall apart. We just got to keep Tulsi Gabbard in prayer. I know that she's in danger now. We were actually considering inviting her to our grassroots jamboree until all of this broke, because I don't feel like she'll be able to really travel to our state for such a thing. We'll find somebody else. I want to mention that we're doing a Constitution Day grassroots jamboree coming up in September 17th. Of course, it's Constitution Day, so we'll be celebrating that coming up, and we'll have some announcements about that. There have been good things happening, but also we got to keep our eye on the ball. And I'm very excited to see where the DNI Tulsi Gabbard's investigation goes.
We do, and the Republicans are going to probably cave to the Democrats because they love being bent over the back of the sofa by the Democrats, and the Democrats are trying to get Tulsi removed as DNI. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But you skipped ahead of us a little bit because we got to start off with Leos
Oh
and
yeah.
law enforcement officers. We've had the ICE protests continue. We had an unfortunate incident on the Cincinnati Covington Bridge. The police officer just kind of lost it against a protester and just started hammering him with his fist and didn't stop. He's now on administrative leave. So the police are in a really tough situation because if they stand up for themselves, they're accused of police brutality. And if they don't, they're accused of being complicit in the downfall of America. So we got to keep our men and women in blue in prayer as well.
Absolutely. We have friends in ICE, and we've had them on our show before. And
Yeah.
one thing that they mentioned a lot was the low morale under Jay Johnson. And now that that has come back around, of course, Tom Homan has brought back such great morale. But obviously, they are still in a lot of danger. We have to lean on Trump and depend on Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem as well, just to keep these guys, at the forefront and safe. Definitely.
And talk about morale. Pete Hegseth, he's not in the job 6 months, and already the Army and the Marine Corps have shut down recruiting for the year. They have exceeded their recruitment goals for the entire year, and
Historic.
it was only June when they shut it down.
Yeah, historic recruiting. It's been incredible. And what a great way to make your mission. And obviously, when you take transgenderism out of the military, when you decide that men are men and women are women, and you're standing behind that as a nation, as a military, and doing your mission, which is about taking out bad guys, taking out terrorism and taking out bad guys. Forget this woke business, this DEI, CRT, all of that's got to go. And I'm really, really proud of Pete Hegseth. And, what a great thing to see. Go Army, but hoorah Marines.
Well, and let's also not forget the Navy, the Air Force, and the Coasties. God love our Coasties doing great work in the floods in Texas. But as my friend, U.S. Army Infantry Colonel Mike Ford, retired, says, the military exists for three purposes: to kill people, to break things, and to present a credible threat to do so.
Amen. Amen to that. It's awesome. Well, you also wanted to talk about VAERS and what's happening with the incredible Secretary of Health and Human Services. So take it away.
Well, look, patience was rewarded. A lot of people go splody, and how many years have I been cautioning people not to go splody the first time they hear something on the internet? Everybody went nuts. Everybody went nuts when the vaccines, the gene altering jabs were approved for infants. And yeah, that was a bad thing, but they did it while Bobby was on vacation. That was a bad move.
Yes.
I don't know how they thought that Bobby would agree to go along with it once he got back from vacation, but to go behind the secretary's back and make an approval like that while he's on vacation, so they immediately were fired. And so kudos to Secretary Kennedy for taking decisive executive action in that regard. And then they removed the approval. So I think ultimately the jabs are going to be banned. The bioengineering industry organization, the biotech industry organization, BIO is the trade group for biotech and for big pharma. And they had a big meeting. And number one on their action item list is to get Bobby Kennedy removed as Secretary of HHS. They're talking about making allies of FDA Administrator Marty McCary. They're talking about Mehmet Oz, who is the regulator of CMS, the Medicaid and Medicare service. And they're talking about your old friends, North Carolina Senator Richard Burr, who retired, as well as the American Enterprise Institute. So we got to keep our eyes on all these people that they're trying to make allies of. We need these. They're also talking about playing with language, right? Using the MAGA language to make vaccines seem like they're safe and effective. And they want to talk about transparency and public health and all that. It's like, well, if you want to protect public health, you're going to ban mRNA injections. You're going to ban the use of mRNA in food. FDA is the Food and Drug Administration, so all food products. And we also need to get USDA or U.S. Department of Agriculture on the team and get these injections banned in our beef, our pork, our chicken, all of our meats.
That's right.
mRNA technology is no good anywhere. I've talked about it at length, so I'm not going to go into it again here. But it is gene altering through reverse transcriptase. And there is literally no justification for it other than the old equation: power equals profit plus control.
I'm going to say, follow the money all the way back down to the dollar. All the way back down. Well, so what a good segue to start talking to our new friend. I have made a wonderful friend here in North Carolina, and she is a U.S. new naturalized citizen, U.S. citizen, immigrated from Liberia, Africa. I want to introduce everybody to my friend, Marvelous Outland. Hello, Marvelous.
Hello, hello. Thank you. I have myself on mute, so
that's fine. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. It has been wonderful to meet you. She is in my club here at the Iredell County Republican Women. We're having a great time with her. She got right in. She just moved over from another county a little while ago where she was helping a congressman, Congressman Mark Harris, into office, which we just love Pastor Harris. And so we just want to welcome you not only to Iredell County, but also to the MAGA Institute today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. It's an honor to be on the MAGA Institute today. Thank you so much. Like Brooke said, my name is Marvelous Outland. I'm from West Africa, Liberia, a very small country by the riverside, border with Sierra Leone, Guinea, the Ivory Coast. And I've been in the States since 2002, August. I came as an international student. I came to college, got a scholarship, and came to college, to Bible Scotia, North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
And Marvis, Liberia's got a very interesting history. A lot of people don't know. I know the president got a lot of flack recently for commenting that that someone from Liberia had great English. Of course, English is the official language of Liberia, but it was founded back in the 19th century as a place for African Americans,
Place.
both free and enslaved, to repatriate to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Syracuse, New York, which was considered to be the most abolitionist city in the country in the days of the Underground Railroad. And the people here were very much opposed to CMS and what they were saying, arguing that blacks, of course, could integrate into our society. And I find it very interesting because just last week I saw a video, it was a TikTok video that I saw on X because I'm not on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a young black woman who had gone over to Africa. She was tired of the racism here in America, and she went over. She did go to Liberia. She went to Nigeria, and
Okay.
she did a video saying how horrible it was, how she was being treated like an outsider. Everybody was mean to her. They'd stolen all of her clothes. They'd stolen all of her money. They didn't have snacks. That's why I mentioned she was a big girl, because that was one of the things she mentioned is she couldn't get any snacks over there in Nigeria. And she was telling people, don't come back to Africa. America's great. And you saw that yourself back in, well, Charles Taylor was still running a dictatorship in Liberia when you left, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yeah. I left Liberia, but I didn't come to the States immediately. I went to Sierra Leone as a refugee in Sierra Leone.
A genuine refugee.
Yeah, because we were fleeing the Civil War,
Right.
1992. I went to Sierra Leone and then had to complete high school, and then the poverty, but that's where I got saved in Sierra Leone as a refugee in 1992. I gave my life to Christ, and ever since then, I have been holding on to his everlasting hand, having waver. There have been times that have been hard, but when I look at what God has brought me through, I say like David, yea, though I go through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. There were times that I wanted to give up. There were times I wanted to throw in the towel, but then I had to remember his goodness, and his mercy that had endured for everlasting to everlasting. But I traveled since 1992. I traveled after high school, went to different countries, took some courses. 2000, I came back from South Africa to Liberia. I got back home. 2 years later, I was offered an opportunity to come to the States, the scholarship. I came to the States in August that time with a work permit. Well, I was allowed to work, but to go to school as well. And I had to maintain a 3.0 GPA. So, and every 18 months, I had to send IRS my paperwork, $535 to renew my work permit. In the time being here, trying to get from work permit to get to your green card and get to your citizenship, my goodness, it took so long. Every year, oh, we will get back to you, and times were difficult. But what I learned about the American people, kind people, loving people, and then I realized that even though I'm African American, I wasn't a Democrat. Let's talk about politics like that. I've always been a Republican, but a Democrat's a default because usually when people see Black people, they just assume you automatically a Democrat until we start to talk about the values. Okay, I'm pro-life. I'm a Christian. I
Amen.
will save life at all costs. I'm an African, I'm a Christian, but I'm also hardworking. I don't like handouts. I just don't like handouts. I like to work so that I can appreciate and value what I've worked for. But that's not what the Democrats do. So then I realized that no, being Black doesn't mean you're a Democrat. Being Black doesn't mean nothing. I mean, you choose where you want to go. And I align with the Republican Party so much so from the time I've been here. I've aligned with them. Democrats have promised us, oh, next year we'll do immigration. By the time we win, we'll do immigration. It's always been like that. But no, They just drag you along, to get you there and be dependent on them, on the system, on food stamps, on this. But with the papers I came in, I wasn't qualified for that. That is why every time I check the news and people coming through the border, it bothers me, bro. It does. Because I had to wait in line since 2002. Got out of college, had my children, the two boys. One is a United States Marine, a veteran now. The other one is 12-year-old doing awesome in school. He's an honest student. And raising them right, raising them in nonviolent area, respecting the police. It's not wrong to respect the police. But
Right.
Democrats think that when you respect the police, it's wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. Do what you told and you get by. Police have stopped me. They have helped me. When I break down, it would be the cops that would come and help me get to the next level, call an Uber and what have you. But every time I see that the flooding in the country, it bothers me. You know why? Because I had to wait in line.
Yeah.
It took me 2002 to 2018, I got my green card. 2020, I got my citizenship. So I was able to vote, not for President Trump in 2020, because when I got it, the election was over, yeah. So I couldn't, but I got it after. But I was able to vote for Ted Budd. I was able to work on his campaign. And ever since then, I've been voting in the primaries and been voting in the general election. But when people say that Republicans, I get this a lot. They look at me and say, "You're an immigrant. You don't like immigrants. You talk against immigrants." I said, "No, I like immigrants. I just like them to come here the right way. Like we all came here the right way. I had to come with a visa. I came on a plane. So you know where to find me. Because when I came, I have fingerprints. So you can track me down. I got a social security number. You can track me down. I speak English, very good English. So, I didn't come here to get on food stamps. I couldn't qualify for that. You coming under the border, we can track you. We don't know who you are. We don't know what crimes you've committed. We don't know how sick you are. We don't know what disease you're carrying around. We need to know something. You can go to any other country and just cross over the border. Even Liberia, as small as we are, we got laws. So don't tell me I don't like immigrants. I'm an immigrant, but I like it when you come here well because you make other immigrants look bad. You make it look like we want to just take advantage. And when you come over here, you come with all your whole village. And then we got to pay for your health care. We got to pay for your food stamps, your housing. How do you get these things? You don't even have a social security number. I had a social security number. I didn't qualify for none of these things. And we got veterans that are homeless, but they are the Democrats are paying for these expensive hotels and lodging you in there. But we got to work 2, 3 jobs so that we can own our own home. How is that fair? Brooke, tell me, how is that fair?
Mm.
So
You
when
are
I say
incredible.
you say you don't like immigrants. No, I do, because I'm an immigrant. I love immigrants that come here the right way, that want the American dream.
Yeah.
Not immigrants that are here and I got to work 3 jobs, pay taxes to pay for their health care. And they're smokers. I got to pay for your cancer treatment. You're a smoker. So, I got to pay for that.
Yeah.
I got to pay for the fact that you in gang. You tracking people down, stealing, murdering people. And I will not say all immigrants, but don't come under the table and then what my son says, lecture me about don't like immigrants. No, I do. But I just want you to come here. So when something happens, I know where to go. I know how to pull you up. You don't have no documentation. You don't have no fingerprint. You're not in the system. And when they do get in the system after a crime, we arrest them, they get in the system. We send them back, they come back. How they keep coming back? But look at the border now, like ghost town.
Yes.
Somebody is in charge. Look at the border now. They say it was impossible to do. Well, we got 11 million undocumented. No, we got more than 11 million undocumented. It's just the one we know about that is 11 million plus. We got 20-something million undocumented. People have come here under the table, under the border, bypass the border, violently come into this country. And then when you say something, they say Republicans do not like immigrants. They always say that. Republicans, that's why immigrants don't vote for you. I said, okay, I wouldn't want your vote if you have to vote for me like that. Because number one, if an illegal immigrant vote, you cancel out legal immigrant votes. If somebody is illegal and we vote, you allowed to vote, you cancel out my vote. Because if I vote yes, you vote no, you cancel out my vote. So we shouldn't have that. And I'm grateful to President Trump. The things he said on the campaign trail is what he is doing. He's not doing anything he didn't say. He said, I will get them out. I will get this criminal out and I will get them out fast.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's dried up to nothing. The last
I'm telling you,
months.
I said ghost town.
Yes.
Right up to nothing. But the Democrats will make you feel like it's impossible to get them out. They're fighting. They're fighting for immigrants, illegal immigrants. They're fighting. They're going out of the state, out of the country to go and bring illegals back. Can you imagine it?
You understand what their motive is, right, Marvelous? You understand that they have a numbers game they're playing at this point.
The more undocumented vote for them, they win.
Yeah, well, not only that, but their representation for Congress, because they're going to lose several seats once they redo the census.
Yes, for only citizens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they're going.
Yeah.
That's why they need all these people in all our neighborhoods to make the numbers surge.
Yeah.
Well, Marvelous, you're exactly right. Hunter Biden said over the weekend, if he were president in 2028, which is what kind of crack is this guy continuing to smoke to think he could ever be president? He said the first thing he would do is order Bukele to send all the illegals back to America. It's like, why are they so passionate about these people? And it's obviously the demographics, but it must be. I have a lot of immigrant friends, naturalized American friends, Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Switzerland, the Netherlands. You're my first immigrant friend from West Africa. And they all vote Republican, and they all consider it a real slap in the face for these illegal aliens to be called immigrants, because immigration's a legal process, as you all know. You described it.
It is.
But I called you a genuine refugee because you actually sought asylum as a refugee the way you're supposed to. The international law of asylum says if you're in a war-torn country and you flee, you seek asylum in the first safe country. And the first safe country for you was right next door, Sierra Leone, and that's where you went. That's why I say you were an actual refugee.
Yes, I am.
You did it according to international law. These people are flying from all over the world to the United States. They're not from Mexico and they're not from Canada, so they shouldn't be seeking asylum in America. It's crazy.
It is. They're not from Haiti, so they shouldn't be seeking but they are, because the I don't know. It allows them to do it. One person comes and they say, "Oh no, you can come here. You can come here." It's only under the Democratic president that all these people flock in, and then they say, "Oh, we send them back." How you send them back? They're still coming. What is it you're doing? President Trump is sending them back. Why aren't they coming? Because they know he means what he says. And he's saying what he means. The process is long. The process is excruciating. It's frustrating, but it is worth the wait. I hear people say, I got 6 American-born children. Okay, I got 2. It doesn't make you a citizen. You can't vote because you have 6 or 10 American-born children. It doesn't make you a green card holder. You don't have Social Security. It doesn't give you no right to protest, no right to engage in violence, no right to loot. We came here on student document. Last year, it was so heartbreaking. It was so disrespectful and hurtful when the Palestinians students were blocking college campuses from Jewish students to go. On our form, it tells you that when you come to the country, you are not allowed to protest, to participate in any violent stuff. You're not supposed to do this. You don't have the right. You're not a citizen. You came here to go to school. You asked the American taxpayer to give you scholarship to come here and learn, education. We love people. You come here and learn. But look what they were doing. Breaking the windows, blocking, having tent city on campus, stopping students from going to school. I say I came here as a student, college visa. I didn't do none of those things because I know what my form said. I know my rights. It's only in the Democratic president and stuff they do all those things. What gives them the right to do that? But I'm glad now their visas were being revoked by our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and they didn't believe that it could be revoked. Yes, it can. You're not a citizen. It can be revoked because you forfeited your visa. You promised to come to school. Having 10 city, the police have to come and drag you and you throwing tear gas in their faces, stoning them. Is that why you came here? Go back to Pakistan. Let's see if you can do that in Gaza or in Pakistan or those places you come from, Iran and Iraq. You can't do that. America is the land of the free, but we got laws in here. So it hurt me to the core. I said, look at what they're doing. We paying their school fees. When you get scholarship, taxpayer pay for that. They pay 80%, 100%, or 70%. My scholarship was 70%. I had to work and pay the 30%. It was high because I'm an international student. I'm not in-state student. So if a regular American is paying $100 a course, I was paying like $250 a course, $250 a course. But they paid 70% for me, and I had to pay the 30%. They gave me a job, so I worked and I paid off. I see people come here and they got all the benefits. How do they get that? How do they get all these benefits living in free hotels that I can't even, me who work in 2, 3 jobs, I can't afford a night, but they're there and the place is so dirty, so dirty. We love immigrants. We would love them to come. I love the exchange of ideas, culture, and all that, but come here the right way so that when something goes wrong, I can know who you are and who did that. If you come under the border, barbed wire fence, I don't know who you are. We don't know who is in this country. When President Trump is saying it, they say, "Oh, what do you mean we don't know?" Yes, we don't know who's in this country. You know, you don't want to go through the process. The process, yeah, and it's expensive, but go through the process. If you don't want to go through our process, go to Canada. Go somewhere else. You don't have to come here, though. Really, you really don't have to come here. If you're going to complain and complain and complain. And the length of time I've stayed here, I built relationships. And then I got to know the culture. I got to experience and value it. It was worth the wait. Trust me, it was long. I always joke myself. I said, man, this process is longer than the lady with the issue of blood. She did it for 12 years. She had that sickness for 12 years. But I did my about 18 years it took me to get to where I am. But I am grateful. Every step of the way was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it. And it's still worth it. Being an American citizen, I went back to Liberia 3 years ago, April. My God, I mean, it felt like, man, I was like, wow, I was treated like a queen, yeah, because it was just different. There was something different about my experience here, and everybody back home I was like way up there, and they were way down here. Even though I left almost 20 years before I went back, it was still the same. Oh my God, you look so good. Man, your English you perfected your English, even though it's an English speaking country. But you know what I mean? I mean, look at the stuff you guys have been able to do over the years. Some of them where we left them, that's where they are. I mean, no opportunity. So I really value what this country has given me: shelter, the opportunity to look at my children. There is nothing they can be if they set their mind to do it. And there is nothing I can do or achieve if I set my mind to do it. So I am eternally grateful every single day. And I'm glad I'm a Republican. I'm a Black, a proud Republican. Being Republican is cool, girl. Yeah, because I'm pro-life. I'm hardworking. I love the values and I love the culture. I love the way the people love us and they accept us. Being a Republican is a cool thing. I'll tell everybody. Most of my friends, African American in Charlotte, they're all Republicans. Some of them don't even know. I have to tell them and educate them. That's why we are. They're like, oh my God, we are Republicans. I thought we're Democrats. I say, yeah, that's what the Democrats want you to think. Think you're a Democrat, know you're a Republican. And it's okay to say that. I love immigrants, but I love us coming here the right way.
Well, you are a great recruiter for the Republican Party. Let me tell you, you have such passion. And the fact how you have just paid back what you've earned. So
Yes.
you worked so hard and had such patience to get to where you are in America, and you've been paying America back by fighting hard for good candidates.
Yes.
You marched in that parade with me. We carried the banner together. We got to be really proud on July 4th, and that was really an honor to serve with you, Marvelous. I just really love your story.
I went to the convention. I have fun. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for your support. Yes. Thank you for your support at convention.
Always.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, Marvelous, I can't say enough how I think you are appropriately named, because you are just marvelous. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so happy to have you not only in the Republican Party, but also as a fellow American.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful as a fellow American.
Would you please come back?
Military mom.
We would love to have you come back, and we'll do another wonderful time with you. You are really just a breath of fresh air, and I'm really excited about seeing more out of you.
Thank you. Did I tell you guys that I worked in the Trump campaign 2020? His victory team? Oh, yeah. Girl, yeah.
I know you were working hard last year. Yeah, you worked hard last year.
Yeah. I worked 2020 too, but I started working 2020 with President Trump victory team. We got all the pictures. Yeah, we were assigned to Charlotte in Mecklenburg County. Yeah, we shaved off a lot of the African Americans that were there, Liberians, Ghanaians, Nigerians, you name it. We went in those areas, went into churches, and President Trump registered a lot of people from 2020. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, keep up the hard work, my girl.
I am.
Love it.
I'm activator girl.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank
you. Have a blessed one. All right.
You too. Bye-bye, my dear.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, team. Nice meeting you too. Bye.
Likewise.
All righty.
Wow. What fun.
She is marvelous.
Yep.
I love her. I love her.
That name for sure. Yeah, she's been a blast. I tell you, she's been great in my club. She came to convention supporting me. She's just been really awesome. Of course, working hard for President Trump and then candidates in 2024. So yeah, it was wonderful. And what a great recruiting tool to have somebody like that with all that fire and passion and her past, what she's been through just to become an American citizen. So yeah, it's really awesome to know her.
Oh, 100%. When I come down to North Carolina, we'll all have to get together for some barbecue. Now, which raises the big question, Brooke. You know, she's an American citizen now, but she's also a citizen in North Carolina. So is she tomato-based, mustard-based, or vinegar?
I don't quite know. We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out her barbecue preference.
We will. We will definitely do that sometime. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to get back together with you, Timbo. Next time when we see each other, maybe we can talk a little bit about our summers, what we've been doing, and what we've got coming up. And it's been wonderful to catch up today.
Absolutely. And you mentioned your jamboree on September 7th. How can people find out more about that?
Yes, so it's going to be September 20th, Saturday, September 20th. Right now, we don't even have a graphic yet, but I'm trying to really finalize our guests, hoping to really have some awesome ringers that'll bring in a great amount of people. But also, we just want the grassroots across North Carolina to have a great reason to get together. We had so much fun at convention, even though it didn't quite turn out the way we wanted it to, with my election not going the way we wanted. I lost by 2.75%. to be state chair, but that doesn't mean we give up. We don't just toss in the towel. We definitely don't take our ball and go home. We dig in deeper, and that is what we're doing across this state. And so grassroots activists across the state are activated. We're excited. We've got some voter rolls to clean up, definitely in North Carolina. We still have Western North Carolina to care about. We've got a lot of problems there with a lot of money.
We still have people living in tents out there, which is unconscionable.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of fight here, and a lot of people are motivated to do so, and we're going to keep that fight up. So just be watchful. We're going to talk about it on this show. We'll also talk about it a little bit on Facebook and anywhere else I get on, if I get any interviews coming out there. But it's the Constitution Day Grassroots Jamboree. It's coming up in September of 2025. Very exciting.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, God bless you. God bless these United States. Keep fighting the good fight.